These are the consequences of doing a love spell on a person. I came across the story on here. It was actually in Spanish, so I'm gonna go ahead and translate it to English, and I'll tag the original creator down here. So Gloria has been practicing witchcraft for the past 5 years, so much so that she has become very well known around her neighborhood, and she has a ton of clients. One day she was having a birthday party at her house, so she invited a bunch of her friends and a bunch of like her close neighbors. When she sees a girl that she didn't recognize enter her home, she assumed that this was probably one of her friends who had invited another friend. The girl goes up to her, introduces herself as Peggy, and tells Gloria that she needs her help, that she has fallen madly in love with this man that wants absolutely nothing to do with her. Gloria advised her against it and told her about all the consequences that come from love spells, that you can't mess with someone's free will. Peggy said that she didn't care, that whatever the consequences were, that she was willing to deal with it. The next day, Peggy went to Gloria's house and Peggy handed her a jar. In this jar, there was this white powder. Peggy told her to take a very small amount out of the jar and to add it to one of his alcoholic drinks. And to also do it on a Friday, because apparently Fridays are the most strongest days to do this stuff. That Friday, Peggy ended up having a huge party at her house where she invited just about everyone, including the boy and Gloria. As the party was going, everybody was dancing, singing, having a great time. Peggy starts getting a bunch of drinks ready for her friends. Gloria notices that Peggy takes one of the drinks and puts it to the side. She then opens the jar that she had in her pocket and she dumps all of the powder in the drink. Gloria right away runs over to Peggy and tells her, "That is too much. I told you to only give him a small amount. You have no idea the consequences that this is gonna create." Peggy then snaps at Gloria and tells her to mind her business, that this had nothing to do with her, that she already paid her for her work, and that whatever happens now, to just back off. Gloria pretty much wiped her hands clean and left it at that. The minute this guy took a sip of the drink, it was almost out of a movie scene. He became completely head over heels in love with Peggy and could not keep his hands off of her. The whole night they were just making out and all over each other. A few weeks go by and Peggy gives Gloria a call and tells her, "Hey, what you gave me worked amazing, but I no longer want to be with him. He has become way too obsessive, very toxico, to the point that he's even jealous of my own brothers. I wanted him, but not like this. I no longer want to be with him." Gloria told her that there's nothing that she can do about it, that when she tried to interfere, that she had told her to mind her business, so that's exactly what she was gonna do. Weeks go by and Gloria ends up receiving news that literally chilled her to the bone. Apparently, Peggy had broken up with the guy, and when she did so, the guy became so insane that he drove his bike right off of a bridge, unaliving himself. All because of that spell. A month later, Peggy calls her terrified, crying her heart out, begging Gloria for help. She told her that after the boy had passed away, that she continued to see him in the home, that he wakes her up at night, that she hears his voice, that he still is around at all times, that even after he passed away, he continues to be obsessed over her, even after death.
Imagine doing a love spell on somebody and then it all comes back to destroy you. You see my face, so you know I'm back with another spooky story. Someone submitted this story and told me it was about their cousin. We're gonna call her cousin Linda. So Linda met this guy, we're gonna call him Dodo, at work. Linda went from literally barely caring about being at work until Dodo joined the team. Dodo would bring this sense of excitement to work, where Linda was just looking forward to going to work because at least Dodo was gonna be there. So Linda and Dodo would go on to build this friendship. And they were inseparable. They spent a lot of times together at work and outside of work. So Linda really got to know the ins and outs of Dodo. And when they would spend all these times together, it would get late. And sometimes Linda just wouldn't feel safe to go home, so she would just stay the night. So while getting to know him, Linda admitted to having feelings for Dodo. But no one knew if Dodo felt the same because Linda decided to not disclose that information. And of course, knowing the ins and outs, she knew that Dodo already had a couple of options anyway. But according to Dodo, those women were just sexual relationships. Fast forward one day, Dodo's grandfather unfortunately abruptly passes away. And to help Dodo get his mind off of things, Linda being the best friend that she was, so to take his mind off things, they decided to go out to a bar. They got drunk and came back home. While they were home and Linda was consoling him, one thing led to another and they did the boom, boom, boom. Now, Linda, Anyway, so the next day they woke up, they didn't really talk about it. Linda proceeded on being there for Dodo throughout his entire grief period. And throughout the period of him grieving, they did not hook up again. However, Linda's feelings grew. One day, Linda finally said, you know what, I'm done hiding these feelings. So she confesses her feelings to Dodo. And Dodo actually felt the same. Dodo actually admitted to being in love with her, and he was just scared of ruining their friendship. So they would go on and have like this flirty-esque friendship. They were basically best friends by day and doing the boom boom boom, making the bed rock by night. Everything was great until Linda was like, when are we gonna be together? We've been doing this cute bestie cat and mouse type of game for a while now, like, what's tea? And every single time that conversation would come up, it seems like there was always a blockage on his end. Linda was ready to be a girlfriend. Shit, Linda was ready to be a wife today. But there was a blockage for him. So Linda thought, since her family is already privy with voodoo, she might as well exercise what she actually knows and just basically give him a little kick to make him see her as, you know, a potential mate. So she did what any reasonable person would do and fed him a voodoo pasta. And that was just step one. Because she likes to go big or go home, she admitted to also giving him a potion. And the man was head over heels. He was so head over heels that he forgot about everybody in his life. That is until his family got involved. His family, knowing that something wasn't right, got involved and decided that they were going to bust him out of this relationship. So one day they got him. All that Linda knew was that she came home one day and that this man disappeared for months. And she had no idea what happened to him or even where to find him. Until one day, being the desperate girl that she is, when suddenly in storms an angry Dodo. To backtrack, when Dodo's family got him, they uncovered the truth about what his girlfriend was doing to him. They took him out of whatever she put him under. When he came back to realize, as much as he tried to ignore the urge, he just had to see her. So he would storm to her house, kick her door down, notices that she was sitting right there, Linda being excited that he came back, but also automatically noticing that his demeanor was different. He beat Linda so bad that Linda suffered such serious surgeries. She has lost all her teeth, dislocated her jaw, broke a few of her limbs, and he attempted to set her house on fire. So she escaped by literally just a hair. One of her neighbors heard the screaming, saw Dodo running out of that house, and ran inside to her rescue. Till this day, she has chronic pain and she is still suffering the consequences of that love spell. That was a submission from Jackmail IT. Maybe hold out before you do that love spell. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this story time, and even more of a thank you for 100,000 followers. If you ever doubt anything, just know, come here. I love you, my abducted humans. And I ain't never gonna stop loving you, bitch. Anyway, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm on my YouTube Zoom. I have so many stories that are longer than these posted on YouTube, so you better go check them out. I've officially reached 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. So if you weren't one of the original 10Ks and you've been watching me all this time, I hope you're ashamed. But it's okay, because it's never too late to join the train. Make sure you follow me on Instagram. Like, literally, the link is in my bio. What are you doing? Please? Alright, au revoir.
Hey bestie, what kind of snack do y'all want to do for this week? Let's do spicy snacks. So for this week, try to eat like spicy snacks only. And if you can't handle spicy, do like mild. I have a love spell story for y'all. I know how y'all love a good love spell story. And as much as I tell people to stop doing them, they still do it. And this story come from a person that did a love spell that they saw right here on TikTok. Clearly, she hadn't been following me since 2020. Or she would know better. But anyway, we're going to get on with the story. Let's call this girl Tasha. So if you know a Tasha, tag her. So one day, Tasha's scrolling through her TikTok, right? She sees this specific TikTok teaching people how to do a successful love spell. And the person who posted this said that the love spell was foolproof and that the person will literally be obsessed with you. Now, Tasha halfway believes in that kind of stuff. But she also has a crush on her coworker. And I mean, like, that is her man. In her head, that is Tasha's man. Except her man does not notice her. He never speaks to her. Now, let's call this coworker Jamal. So Tasha is crushing on Jamal. Jamal is handsome. He's charming. He's funny. He's like the full package for Tasha. Except that, he doesn't know that she exists. Now, she saw a couple of these videos before, but for some reason, that specific video made her want to try it because when she looked at the comments was full of success stories. So why not? What could go wrong, right? So the spell was pretty simple. You're supposed to get a red candle, you light it, and you get some cinnamon. See, I just caught myself because I was going to say how to do it, but I'm not because I know some of y'all are still unhinged and y'all going to think it's okay to do it. But if you know which one I'm talking about because it went viral. Anyways, the next day after work, she went and she purchased the red candle. When she got home, she did the spell. What's the worst that could happen? Again, she did this halfway expecting it to work. So she does this and she goes to work the next day. Except work was different. Jamal, her man, who was always distant but polite, was speaking to her. And not only was he speaking to her, she would constantly catch him staring at her. And I'm not gonna lie, she was pretty amazed. She was like, whoa, I really didn't think this thing was gonna work, but I'm here for it. He started to talk to her more and more at work. He even started to text her constantly. That's so much better that Jamal started to bring her coffee to work without her asking. And Tasha loved every bit of minute of it. Now she could really be like, my man, my man, my man. Until her man started acting weird. First, it started with Jamal showing up to her apartment unannounced. His excuse was always that he just wanted to see her, and it's sweet, you know? It raised like a little bit of eyebrow for Tasha, but it's still like, oh, he wants to see me. And then Jamal started to question her every move, like where she was, who she was with, why is she taking this long to text back. The once very handsome and charming Jamal became very obsessive. And Tasha really tried to brush it off as in like he's just an intense lover. You know, some people are just like that. And then it escalated. So boom, one night Tasha decided that she was going to go out with her friends, right? They decided that they were going to go to a bar, and that's what they did. They went, they're having fun, they're having drinks, they're having a time. As she's having fun, right, one of her friends' face completely changed. And she's like, what's wrong? And the friend is like, is that Jamal? And when she turned, it was indeed Jamal. He showed up at the bar mad as hell because she didn't invite him to their little get-together. Now, this is why he was mad and this is why he showed up. But when he showed up and he realizes that one of the friends that Tasha went out with was a guy, that's when it got bad. He tried to yank her ass out of that bar. His jealousy quickly turned into aggression. And he demanded to know who the hell that guy was and why was she talking to him for that long and why is the guy here and she never told him and all of her friends ended up stepping in, including the guy that was there, her friend, and Jamal ended up having to leave. The bar kicked him out. Over the next few weeks, it got even worse, y'all. Mind y'all, this is a testimony. Jamal would blow up her phone, wait outside her apartment building, watching her every move to make sure she's not cheating. Mind y'all, they're not even in a relationship yet. It got to a point where Jamal started to threaten her and himself because he keeps saying that he doesn't know what's going on in his head. He doesn't like it, but he cannot live without her. Now, at this point, Tasha knows why this is happening. She knows what she did. She remembers that spell. Except now she doesn't really know what to do because she didn't even think this would work. And at this point, she's wishing she hadn't done that. She also ended up mentioning that after this whole situation happened, she ended up finding my page and it made sense. Everything that I was saying was everything she was experiencing. But let's backtrack to the story. This is where it got so much worse because one night, Tasha is in her apartment, right? She's sleeping. She just woke up feeling like something was wrong. Nothing woke her up. She just felt something was wrong. And so she got up to go to the bathroom, and on her way to the bathroom, she sees a figure in her living room. Terrified, she screamed, ran back to her room, and called 911. She locked herself in there. She don't know what's going on, mind you. She's thinking she's getting robbed or somebody's breaking into her apartment, right? And so on the phone with the operator, she gives the police full permission to break down her door if they need to. When they came, it was Jamal. Jamal was in tears. Jamal keeps saying how he cannot live without her. Jamal ended up getting arrested and he got charged for breaking and entering. And he actually did end up going away for a little while because he did express very loudly how he cannot live without her and that he would rather harm himself or her than to live. Tasha ended up having to contact her employer and Jamal's family for help. And long story short, Jamal's family ended up having to move Jamal states away from Tasha. That's how she finally was able to get some kind of relief. But she says till this day she still be scared that one day she's gonna come home and Jamal traveled through states just to break into one of her apartments. Also, she did move from that apartment. And Tasha told me to tell y'all, it doesn't matter what type of love spell you see on TikTok, it's not worth it. It ain't nothing I haven't told y'all before, but I feel like maybe y'all would listen if it's somebody that went through it. He told me to tell y'all to please listen to Blizzy. She's not joking. Till this day, she's still scared for her life because she feels like any day now, Jamal's just gonna pop up and take her out. So listen to me when well, matter of fact, y'all don't even gotta listen to me. Go do you. I'm telling you not to do it. But if you want to do it anyway, you can become a Tasha. Anyways, make sure you guys are following me on Instagram and on YouTube. Yeah, because if they take this app away, how else are you supposed to get your snacks and listen to my stories? Exactly.